Here's why I'm still holding XCN even though nothing I say is financial advice. Not only is the thought of 25 cents still on my mind when it comes to XCN, but what I find even more fascinating is that XCN, we all know, did better not too long ago. Like, for instance, back in January of this year, market cap was around $1 billion. As of right now, market cap has been, of course, a lot lower ever since then. If we take a look at it, market cap is currently around 300 million, around that range. But here's the thing. When I first started talking about XCN, the market cap was around 40 million. And at that time, a lot of people were kind of writing XCN off and saying, oh, it's never really going to do anything. Then suddenly it went to a market cap of nearly $1 billion. But even besides that, keep in mind, the market cap as of right now is a lot lower than back in January. But then there is something that launched, in my opinion, that is actually such an amazing thing for Onyx. And I think arguably it's the biggest thing they've done to date. And that is the Goliath testnet. Keep in mind, back in January, when XCN had that really good rally, had Goliath, the testnet, launched back then, it would be a totally different case. But then as of right now, just because the market cap is lower, it's kind of viewed as, oh, it's not really important when it comes to Goliath. But again, I think it's the biggest thing that Onyx has done so far in terms of its achievement. But then it's kind of downplayed a little bit because of the price of XCN. But nonetheless, I am not concerned when it comes to this because I think that if, let's say, there's an altcoin season, if the market picks up again, I think Goliath could be such a big narrative. I really do believe that when it comes to something like Onyx, because I think really it is just the best thing it's ever done so far. Now, I'm still waiting for the mainnet launch when it comes to Goliath, and in case someone may be wondering, okay, what is that? Goliath is this layer 1 blockchain for the world of finance, but again, so far we've only seen the testnet and we haven't seen the mainnet. But if, let's say, they do launch the mainnet, which they are planning to do in Q1 of 2026, and let's say at that time, altcoins did do a lot better than right now, that would be so amazing. If XCN actually did better than back in January, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, which is why when it comes to the idea of 25 cents, it is still in my mind. Even though it's around a 27x from here, it's had a pretty big pullback, but still, XCN is still actually doing a lot better than when I first started talking about it, and even despite the pullback, I think that Onyx fundamentally has actually improved by a lot fundamentally. And when I take a look at a $9 billion market cap, which would have at that point, again at the price of 25 cents considering current circulating supply, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that's going to break any record or set any new kind of, milestones. No. We've seen many projects out there way exceed a $9 billion market cap, and we've seen even meme coins do it. Take a look at Shiba Inu back in 2021, reaching around 40 billion, Dogecoin reaching over 80 billion that year, and that was years ago. And even if we take a look at it as of right now, XRP, not too long ago, market cap was around 200 billion. This right here is not even 5% of that. And not to mention, when I take a look at Onyx, the reason why I like it fundamentally is because even though it's not necessarily trying to reinvent the wheel in terms of the fundamentals, it is at the right place at the right time. What do I mean by this? If we take a look at the space of payments and global trade and finance, I don't think there's that many compelling options, especially for projects that are below $2 billion in terms of market cap. Let me explain what I mean by this. Let's take a look at XRP and XLM, for instance, the two most famous, both top two in terms of popularity when it comes to payments and global trade and finance. But again, like I mentioned earlier on the video, XRP, we just saw it reach a market cap around 200 billion, and XLM market cap is in the many billions. But then there's nothing really competing directly against that in terms of that market cap range. Because first of all, there's XCN, right, which we're talking about as of right now, or should I say Onyx. There's XDC, which of course I think is the most popular one in that category, again, for a project that is focused on payments and global trade and finance, yet with a below $2 billion market cap. And then we have ZBCN, and then we take a look at XPR and as well Swiftcoin. So let's just think about that. That's pretty much 5 compelling options. But then within those 5, if let's say we remove XCN, because we are talking about it as of right now, XCN pretty much has 4 compelling competitors within that specific niche, right? Again, a project that is focused on payments and global trade and finance, yet with a below $2 billion market cap. That's not that many. That's not 20, 30, 40. That's just 4. I think it's in the right place at the right time, actually, because payments, it's valued at over $2 trillion as of right now in terms of the market, right? And we take a look at global trade and finance, That market right there is expected to reach up to $5 trillion in value by 2028, according to Mordor Intelligence. And yet, still even despite that, there's not that many compelling options, I think, currently, within that specific space. Don't get me wrong, I still believe in XLM, by the way, but then at the same time, if I take a look at Onyx, not every single person, I think, is automatically gonna want to believe in just XLM and XRP if they want to believe in a project that is focused on payments and global trade and finance. The reason being, I think, is probably because sometimes the market cap is just too big. Sometimes not every single person just wants to believe in that, right? And when I take a look at Onyx, or should I say XCN, it's kind of like that. In a sense, it's a miniature version of that. It's pretty much focused on the exact same things, but then with a way lower market cap. So to me, I'm not saying that it's going to mean that XCN is going to gain the most attention. I'm not saying that, and it doesn't necessarily need to. But then at the same time, I just think that it's just really in the right place and the right time. Focus on payments and global trade and finance, a proven kind of sector to be focused on, and then it doesn't have that many compelling competitors. So I like what I'm seeing here when it comes to XCN. I just don't want to give up like that. It's almost actually easier for me to keep on believing than just give up, because had XCN just kind of still stayed at that around $40 million market cap range, maybe I could get that argument, but I just saw XCN not too long ago reach a market cap of around $1 billion, even though when I first started believing in it, it was around 40 million in terms of market cap. And now it's over 300 million. You know, why would I give up on something like that? It's literally around an 8x from when I first started talking about it. And I'm not telling you to do anything, by the way, but this is just my mindset when it comes to Onyx. So again, I don't know why I would give up. I'm still holding XCN, by the way, and sure, I will not be able to know when exactly an altcoin season is going to start, but I don't think I have to, because in my opinion, if let's say there is even an altcoin season during this cycle, if I'm just holding, waiting, and staying patient, I think that's good enough of a preparation for me to maybe, let's say, experience an altcoin season, because even though, again, I'm not telling you to do anything, initially, when I was first believing in XCN, I was just holding, right? And then suddenly had a really good rally. Now, at that exact moment, there could be things that are going on. Maybe I'm sleeping, maybe I'm not checking my portfolio or something like that. There's a lot of variables. So if I try to find the perfect moment, it's going to be, first of all, very difficult, if not really even possible for me to do that. And I think also on top of that, it creates a lot of unnecessary stress. So why would I do that? Let's say I'm just holding, waiting, and dollar cost averaging, right? If, let's say, for whatever reason, the market suddenly starts doing very well when I'm asleep, then it's like kind of going along with the ride. I didn't even have to try to anticipate that at that exact moment. This is just my perspective. Now, I cannot speak on anyone's behalf, but this is just personally what I'm doing. And that's what I'm going to continue to do moving forward, because I don't think I've seen an altcoin season during this cycle. So I'm still staying patient, holding, and just waiting. And that's pretty much about it. But seeing how Bitcoin has never reached 150,000, let alone 200 or 250 or 300,000, never seeing Ethereum reach even 10,000, I don't think I've seen an actual kind of ceiling for this cycle. This is just my point of view. So when it comes to altcoins, let alone XCN went to around $1 billion in market cap without much anticipation over what Goliath could be, and also without an altcoin season. What could it do if there was actually an altcoin season, if we do ever see one during the cycle? Who knows? Only time will tell, but 25 cents wouldn't surprise me, and let's say it did better than back then, wouldn't necessarily surprise me either. But this is just my point of view. I get it, again, 25 cents is around a 27x from here, but I don't know why I'd complain about that, actually, if it maybe were to even do that. Even if, let's say, XCN just went to 12.5 cents, so let's say around a 13x, even at that point, like, I would much rather prefer that over something like Ethereum over the next 5 months, but this is just my point of view. But yeah, besides that point though, when I take a look at Onyx, I haven't given up, I'm still holding, and those are pretty much the reasons why, even though I'm not telling you to do anything, and again, even though nothing I say is financial advice. However, I hope you all have a nice day. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out, peace, bye.